I invite you to pray with me. Holy and loving God, may the words from my mouth and the meditations on all of our hearts gathered both here and at screens this evening be pleasing to you. Amen. On December 19th, 1843, Charles Dickens published his beloved classic, A Christmas Carol. And in case you are not familiar, this story follows Ebenezer Scrooge, a wealthy, selfish old man who was visited by ghosts. First, his old business partner, Jacob Marley, and then the spirits of Christmas past, present, and yet to come. Through these encounters, Scrooge undergoes a profound transformation, becoming a more compassionate and considerate person. And this Advent season, here at East End United, we have embraced A Christmas Carol as a central theme, reflecting on its powerful social commentary about poverty and the transformative potential of redemption, both personal and systemic. In Ebenezer Scrooge, we see a man who, on paper, seems to be an exemplary citizen. He runs a successful business, pays his taxes faithfully, and obeys the law, each and every one. And yet his character reveals how legal duty and moral responsibility can often be at odds with each other. Many of you may have been present a little over a week ago for the dramatic reading of A Christmas Carol held right here. The choir and our guest musicians were magnificent. Our readers were fantastic. And in preparation for this event, I spent a lot of time going through the text of this novella, and I discovered a couple of things. Firstly, the film adaptation that most closely follows the original story, if anyone has a guess, is The Muppets Christmas Carol from 1992. Although the Alastair Sim version from 1951 will always have a special place in my heart. The second thing I noticed was this. In some records of the text online, Tiny Tim, with a belly full of goose and pudding, exclaims, "God bless us, everyone." And in other versions, he says, "God bless us, everyone." It is such a small thing, that space on the page. But grammar is important. And so one night at 3 a.m., I was lying awake in bed and my head started spinning and thinking about the difference between a blessing for everyone, the collective of humanity, and for everyone, each individual person. And some might ask, why does it matter? I have some thoughts. In this moment, when we gather together amidst the glow of candlelight, there is a prayer we echo, not just for one, but for all, for the multitude, for the weary, for the invisible, for those pushed to the edges, for those whose names are forgotten in the great sea of the world. God bless us, everyone. This is not the blessing of one heart, but the blessing of all hearts together, woven into a collective prayer for every life, for every struggle, for every joy. God bless us, everyone. And yet there is another prayer we sing, the one we whisper, the one we speak alone, the one that rises from the quiet corners of our own lives when we feel most fragile. It is the prayer for each of us, not as part of a whole, but as individual souls made tender by the world we carry inside. God bless us, every one. And what does that mean? It means God blesses us as each of us is, our hopes, our dreams, our fears, our quiet ache, our deep longing for love and peace. Each one of us with our own story, our own heartache, our own joy. God bless us, every one. And as we stand in the shining of this season, we remember that Jesus comes not in a world of perfection, but in a world of turmoil. He comes into the spaces that tremble, where the pain within Palestine and Israel ripples through families, where missiles fall on Ukraine and Russia, where grief grips Sudan and Myanmar. He comes. He comes for the child in fear, wondering if they will ever be seen for who they are. The queer child unsure of how to tell their family. The refugee looking for a place to call home. The asylum seeker whose papers are ignored. Jesus comes for them, for everyone. For those whose names are lost to the wind. Jesus comes for the collective and for each individual heart. God bless us, everyone. God bless us, everyone. The world is on fire. The earth groans, and yet Jesus comes. Jesus comes even as we feel the weight of the cold, even as a woman named Mary, and she is right center in that display there, even as a woman named Mary is found frozen outside a Tim Hortons. Even as our food bank lines grow longer, even as more and more gather it out of the cold seeking shelter and seeking warmth, Jesus comes, not for the masses alone, but for each of us, for everyone who aches, for everyone who is cold, for everyone who is hungry. Jesus comes not just in the grand sweep of history, but in the tender moments of the here and the now, in the quiet, in the stillness, in the hunger of each individual heart. Jesus comes and says, I see you. God bless us, everyone. God bless us, everyone. In the birth of Jesus, we remember the quiet miracle that God does not wait for all to be well before entering our lives. God enters in the mess, the noise, the struggle. Jesus was not born in a palace, but in a humble place among farm animals, in a space that had no room for him, no room for his parents, no place for a baby who would change the world. But Jesus was born. He was born for everyone and everyone. But he was born not in luxury. He was among kin, among those who knew the value of compassion and the value of care. Because while tradition has us tell this story in a different way, a way that carries its own call, his parents, they did not give birth alone. They were surrounded by those who cared, by a midwife, by the animals who witnessed the miracle. God bless us, everyone. God bless us, everyone. it is easy to forget, within the glitter of our holiday celebrations, the deeper meaning of Christmas. That Jesus comes for everyone, all of humanity, the whole world, but also for everyone. The ones we overlook, the ones we pass by, the ones whose struggles we do not see, and us. God bless us, everyone. God bless us, everyone. And so we are called, each of us, to see the world as Jesus saw it, to reach out, to care for each person, to welcome them, to love them, to see them for who they are, to bless them as God has blessed us. We are called to see not just the collective need, but the individual heart, to care for the whole and for everyone, including ourselves. Jesus comes for us all, and in his coming we are called to bless. God bless us, everyone. God bless us, everyone. And so this Christmas Eve, let us offer our hearts, both as part of the great collective and as individuals as unique as each snowflake, each of us needing the love that comes when the enfleshed God chooses to live among us. Let us bless this world, everyone and everyone. And may we, in turn, be a blessing to all. God bless us, everyone. God bless us, everyone. Amen.